Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? I have a new book review for you, and that is on The Enemy by Charlie Higson. The Enemy is on Team Zombie, as you guys know, and it is going up against Diana Peterfriend's rampant Team Unicorn. This is round one, guys. Who is going to win? Let's get on with the synopsis. The setting takes place in London during the present time. Everyone over the age of 14 has fallen victim to this virus, which turned their brain to mush, and having this really high urge to gnaw on the flesh of children. There's boils all over their body and pus is coming out and it's gross. They're definitely slower and they're not as smart either. Technically, they aren't zombies. They're not the living undead, but they wish they were. In this story, it focuses on a group of kids in Holloway, and they have been staying in this grocery store called Waitrose. They've been surviving for at least a year, and they've been scouring the surrounding areas for food, and they are on their last leg. It is their leader Aaron and second command Maxie. They're worried that they won't be able to survive much longer in the area, and they definitely need a miracle to happen. Lo and behold, of course, they get that miracle. One day, a kid wanting to get into the Waitrose, he has news for them that there is a safe zone that they can go to. Aaron definitely doesn't want to pass this opportunity up, and so they agree to go with him to the safe zone. And that's basically where the plot takes off, guys, is these group of kids from this isolated area going on to this adventure, trying not to be eaten by zombies, being ripped apart in half, trying to work together. So let's move on to the characters. At the beginning of the book, I wasn't feeling these characters. I wasn't connecting to them as quickly as I usually do in other books, and I was a bit worried that I wasn't going to like these characters. You know how I love my characters. If you don't feel for the characters and what they're going through, you don't care about the story. And I was afraid I wasn't going to care about the story. But luckily, the character grew on me about 100 to 150 pages in. You get to see the different kinds of kids in these groups. You have the leaders that are stepping up front. You also have kids that are very manipulative. Their will to survive is very strong. And you definitely forget that these are just kids. They're 14 and younger. And you have little kids around, and they're vulnerable. You get to see the desperation and the fear in these kids' eyes, and it's intense. And as the plot progresses, you start to see why Charlie Higson doesn't want you to grow too attached to these characters, because tragic situations happen and it's bad. So let's talk about the plot next. I really enjoyed the plot. It's high level adventure, intensity, anticipation, suspense. If you're looking for a great book that falls into the apocalypse genre, The Enemy by Charlie Higson is definitely one of them. The whole situation is depressing and distraught and tragic, and you just feel for these kids. It's just bad and it's insane, and you do not know what's gonna happen next. There are a lot of shocking moments and twists and surprises, and they were so good. I know there was a discussion regarding labels on books. Apparently for this book, it has a warning label right on the back here. It warns of strong language and scenes of violence, and for those who are very sensitive to that kind of content, this label will definitely give you a heads up, because it definitely has all of that. Ooh, my throat. Especially in regard to the scenes of violence, that was pretty heavy in the book. The Enemy might be one of the more graphic stories I've read so far in terms of a YA novel. I've read The Monstermologist, which was pretty gory. This one is just as gory. There's definitely a lot of graphic descriptions regarding the zombies, a lot of boils, pus coming out of them, dangling limbs, and body parts falling off, people bursting into flames, and the whole description of those kinds of things happening is pretty freaky and gross. That's something to keep in mind for sure. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give The Enemy by Charlie Higson a readable rating. I really enjoyed this book. The beginning for me was a bit rocky. It took me some time to get into the groove of these characters and what they were going through, but after about 100 pages in, I was really getting into it, and the plot was just getting more insane and crazy and devastating, and I was fearing for these kids' lives. There was a lot of twists and surprises, gross things you don't want to even think about. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and there's a lot of desperation in this book. I will definitely be continuing on with the series. Definitely what I was looking for in a zombie book. A lot of action, a lot of grossness, a lot of tragedy, devastation. There was dying, lots of dying. For those who have a stronger stomach and those that aren't faint of heart, I definitely recommend this book, checking this out if you want to read a good apocalyptic book to get into, get lost in. So that's everything, guys. I will talk to you later. The Queen Wave. She's dead in this book, by the way. It was like, Anyways.